Motor City Sports Talk. We back in the building, back with another edition of season preview. We go through the Detroit Lions schedule and preview each one of their opponents. Today we previewing our divisional opponents. Our first NFC North divisional opponent, the Minnesota Vikings. Week 9 and Week 16. So we played them at the crib. We played them at Minnesota Week 9. Week 16, the week before the season ends, we played them at the crib. So that's what it is. And Minnesota's brought in Kirk Cousins this offseason. They brought in Sheldon Richardson from the Seahawks, who was a trouble defensive tackle coming from the Jets. And, they brought in, got rid of Jarius Wright. I thought he was a pretty good receiver, but they got rid of him. And, they bring in Kendall Wright, former Tennessee Titan, as well. So they had some solid offseason moves, and they also get back Dalvin Cook this year and pretty much bring everybody else back. They got Linville Joseph. They got rid of Sharif Floyd. They got rid of a few other guys. They drafted the cornerback out of University of Central Florida, UCF. Trouble corner, Mike Hughes. Very, very troubled guy. But seeing they got it together after getting kicked out of school and going to JUCO, then going to UCF. And he's a very, very talented corner. We know Mike Zimmer loves to draft corners and develop them. So we'll be looking at his development. And also, I heard they picked up the fifth-year option on Trey Waynes, former Michigan State alum. Shout out to the Spartans, all right, even though I don't like them. But Minnesota is looked upon to be a great team this season. I mean, most people are picking them to win the NFC, right up there with the Rams, forgetting about the Packers and Falcons and the Saints. They believe with them getting Dalvin Cook back off the ACL injury, he injured himself versus the Lions and our first meeting last year. And he definitely was a gem sliding to the second round out of Florida State, and hopefully he can get back healthy for their sake. And they brought in Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is supposed to be the savior. He's supposed to be better than Case Keenum. But the only problem with Kirk Cousins is he's not a proven winner, but he hasn't been set up for success like this situation with two stud receivers and Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. And the real rap on Adam Thielen, was it a fluke last year, or is that going to be the trend with him? Other than that, he got a running back in Dalvin Cook. Latavius Murray came to life, and also they lose Jerry McKinney. So those are little, small things. And also, when you talk about Kirk Cousins coming into this division, don't forget Case Keenum pretty much made this offense successful because it was tailor-made to him. His mobility and his ability to avoid sacks made the Minnesota offensive line look better than what it actually was. And we know Kirk Cousins is a statue. And when Sam Bradford was behind that very offensive line, that team didn't function as well. So Kirk Cousins might not have the mobility that Case Keenum had, and I think a lot of people are overlooking that fact about the Minnesota Vikings. So, you're not going to get, the mobility and to make you miss in the pocket of looseness that Case Keenum had. And I think that can be a potential downfall with Kirk Cousins getting all that guaranteed money and Sheldon Richardson getting on the team. Hopefully get back to form for Minnesota's sake. If you can, that's dangerous. Linville Joseph, Sheldon, and Anthony Barr and Everson Griffin. And, the whole line would be nasty if Sheldon Richardson played to his potential and got back on track. I think they damn near had the greatest front seven in NFL history the last few years, man. Especially with Eric Kendricks like him in the middle linebacker. I like Barr. They got Xavier Rhodes, one of the best lockdown corners in the league. Harrison Smith, one of the best West safeties. They brought back Terrence Newman. They got the rookie Mike Hughes, Trey Waynes. Trey Waynes was looked at as a weak spot for Minnesota, and a lot of people picked on Trey Waynes when he started to get it together. We see what Mike Hughes do. I think eventually he'll take Trey Waynes' spot, so that's something to look at. And, Minnesota is a good team on paper, but I'm telling you, the thing about hype and expectations, it might happen to them. It might be a situation like Carolina. They snuck up on people. They was a hunter when they became the honey. It didn't work out too well. They took a step back, and injuries happen. It's hard to really build a dynasty and build on momentum year to year in the NFL because health and changes. And they're making a big change with Kirk Cousins, paying him all that money. They better pray that he delivers. And the one thing I find funny that he may not deliver on It's a simple fact that he don't have that mobility in the pocket like Case Keenum. When Case Keenum brought that elusiveness and that mobility outside the pocket, it brought a different dimension to Minnesota, and it uplifted that whole team, you know. And when Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray and Jerry McKinney was running good. But ultimately, man, you know, the Vikings and the Lions play each other tough. They're divisional opponents. They split last year. They beat us on Thanksgiving. That's the only divisional loss we had last year. It's going to be a dogfight again. I can't tell you you're going to win or lose. I don't do that because injuries happen from a week-to-week basis in the NFL. I wait till the week of the fight, give my prediction. A week of the game and give my prediction then. But I do know Minnesota is a very, very talented team. I know they're going to have some contracts coming up, so their window may be closing. I love Mike Zimmer. He's an amazing coach. Love that he got a shot. I love that he's doing successful with Minnesota. I don't have any ill will towards Minnesota, but I do like that the fact that the Lions do match up good with them with their second, third, and fourth receivers as well. If our line can block and pick up some of their pressures, that's been our issue with Minnesota in the past. So it should be a very, very interesting Week 9 and Week 16. Like I said, man, Minnesota's got better, but I think there are some weaknesses or some potential faulty downfalls there as well with Kirk Cousins and Adam Thielen if he's going to build on the momentum and potential injuries on both sides. So it's Motor City Sports Talk. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Y'all know what it is, man. Share, and subscribe. We gone.